labels been copying artists' music and erasing them, and I'm talking down from the early days when artists would come with labels to labels and bring CDs and tapes and CDs, and you would never hear about artists coming out or artist labels never. You next thing you know, they had so much boxes of tapes of artist tapes. They throw them shits in there. They listen to them, and they take it. They flows, good flows and sounds, and they give it to an artist that's popular, and let him blow up and hit and make a hit record. And now, excuse me, now you hearing about your music to somebody else. You hearing your music on the radio, somebody else and took your shit, but you know you went down there to the label and gave in your shit to make it hot, and you like somebody else using my shit. Or you would get to a label and they would sign you, shelf you, take your music and give it to the next hot thing. These labels been doing this from back in the days to the modern era to we talking history, from singers, artists, writers, ghostwriters, to hip hop. You know, especially hip hop. It just happened so big in the hip hop community that they labels been doing this. Now, to the new modern day times, to technology, you hear artists come out that he's hot, his sound is on fire. Labels will duplicate that. They will look for the next best thing. They don't, that artist will keep eating. Don't get me wrong, he'll blow up, but they're looking for the next one that's gonna sound like that too. And the one after that's gonna sound like that. And to just keep that sound generating and to keep millions of dollars so they don't, so in case this one artist failed, and that's the fucked up part, about these labels, it ain't the same no more. The hip hop is not what I grew up off of. Everybody had to sound different. Everybody had to sound different. Not saying they wasn't doing nothing, taking nothing, but every single artist that came out sounded different. It was a thing when I came out, when I would hear about music and I was young, it was a thing to be unique in this game. It wasn't a thing to be copying somebody or sounding like the next person. You had to be unique to stand out. It was like, who are you? The people want to know, who are you, and how can I become a fan? How can I buy into you? That was through selling out, through the music. You know what I'm saying? That was through the music. This is what I'm doing right now, right? I'm talking to y'all. Y'all getting to know me, my personality, how I am, what I do, what I love about music, other things that I do outside of this. But y'all getting to know this. This is what's coming into this, right? So now you're basically like, yo, how am I buying into what you telling me? Like, what are you doing? How am I buying into you, right? You're basically buying into to me, right? So now, as this starts to grow, you become a fan. You may like something. You may like to hear how I tell the stories. You may like to hear the educational part. What am I teaching? How am I educating? What am I saying? As I'm doing this, I'm also teaching artists that's coming up in this game to, learn the music, learn the industry, create the content. When I'm talking about other artists, I'm always going to try to revert back to myself and revert back to teaching people in this industry of how to get their stuff together. You know what I mean? You go back, these labels been doing it to these kids. And they signing young artists that they know that's young and don't really understand. This is a young man game, but they also know that you don't know business. And if you ain't got the right people in your corner, the right lawyers, because lawyers work with the labels, you hear it. Bobby Smurder stories about how labels tried to jerk him and do him foul. And he was in jail. Meek Mill stories. And this thing passes on. Kodak Black. Everybody that was y'all biggest artists had issues with labels. Even to the Jay-Z's. Nobody wanted to sign Jay-Z at one point. So they created their own shit, Rockefeller, because they had no label. So then you create your own shit and you bring the label to you. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm creating my own fan base. I'm creating my own stuff. And this is what you do when you're independent, when you like, yo, I'm not asking nobody for nothing, but I'm also not looking for no handouts, and I'm also going to take what's mine. You know what I'm saying? And then you start to put in that work, and then that work starts to grow, and then you become this figure. Now you what people looking at. Like, oh shit, this person ain't looking for no handouts. This person ain't looking for nobody to help him. This nigga doing it on his own. Let me see what I can do for him. And then now you got people that willingly want to help you because they see you're helping yourself. And that's what this is all about, man, you know. And then you pass it on to help other people. Damn, this shit is crazy. But then you pass it on to help other people. This is what the industry, you know, this is what it's supposed to be about, but they not doing that. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, man, this is why I'm here to grow. The goal this year is to get 4,000 watch hours, and we're going to get that. That's my goal. I'm putting it out there. Let's put it out there in the air. Y'all watch this content. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. Hit the notification bell. Let me know what y'all think. And we're going to make this channel blow up, man. And this channel, 2026, this shit going to have a lot of subscribers, man. I'm telling you. Still the goal still was the 10,000. Still there. We probably going to get past the 10,000. But it's still there. What y'all think? Like, share, subscribe, comment below. Tell me how you feel the labels is treating artists and how they copying other artists to make other artists bigger. Let me know if that's a thing that is valid or that's something that should be called out. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. See y'all.